Great good morning, everyone. It is a beautiful Friday, June 13th. Friday the 13th. Who cares? Year of our Lord 2025. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he, broadcasting today from the United States of America. Yeah, I could prove it. The place where the brave, like the veterans we salute today, who we lost this year, courtesy of our man, John Basiliga and Basiliga Hospitality. Robert Zelno, Einan, Donald Bach, Waymart, Michael Carr, Freeland, Anthony Palmer, Scranton, Benjamin Carter, Scranton, and Rich Gaudreau, Bloomsburg. The United States of America, founded with a certain knowledge and understanding by our incredible founding fathers that government is not to be, cannot be, shall not be our parent, our guide, our direction, our salvation. Not any of these things, but is nothing more than a necessary evil we require to organize and protect society. The United States of America, the country where, for the first time in human history, freedom was declared to be an unalienable right granted to each individual by God. Freedom wasn't to be parceled out to groups. It wasn't to be controlled by government or government officials. Our great American Constitution ensures and codifies freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of association, economic freedom, and freedom of the press. They can lie, they can do whatever they want, but you could still come to this show for truth. Now, armed with these freedoms, a ragtag bunch of immigrants, rejects, and their progeny, because they had these freedoms, and only because of that fact, created the richest, most powerful, most culturally diverse and accepting nation ever to grace our planet Earth. Get the connection? It's not correlation, it's causation. Freedom equals all of those great things. America, the only place specifically invented and designed so that every American can live their life in the manner they choose, unlimited by their background, upbringing, race, color, or creed, unhindered by the government or those who would use government to control others for their own comfort, benefit, or power. And so, with our essential preamble dispensed with, we can gavel to order this meeting of the Club for Common Sense, promising you a sanctuary of sanity for the balance of this hour. So, I'm a little tired today because I just had to stay up to watch this incredible news out of the Middle East. Israel attacking Iran. They weren't going to wait any longer. Remember what Iran is. It is a true evil empire. Their goal is to kill. This is the stated goal. It's to kill all non-Islamists. They're going to kill Muslims too, and they kill them by the thousands. Well, guess who was on the other side of that last night? It was an unlucky Friday the 13th for Iran, wasn't it? Mohammed Bagheri, chief of staff of the armed forces of the Iranian regime, eliminated. Hussein Salami, commander of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. Gholam Rashid, commander of the Khatam al-Anbiya Emergency Command. And Amir Hazijeh, commander of the Air Force of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. Dead. Gone. And good riddance. Evil men all. And so Israel did what they had to do. And I talked to you about this a couple days ago. I said, look, Israel's got incredible intelligence within Iran. Remember the explosions because they knew Hamas guests and Hezbollah guests were going to be in Iran. There's a significant resistance there. Well, two things happened last night that were incredible. And by the way, should be a warning to us vis-a-vis the Red Chinese and our enemies. Israel set up, and remember all the Chinese farmland owned near military bases. Israel set up basically drone camps and drone launch sites in Iran. Now, this is incredible. You would think a closed society like that couldn't happen. Well, Ukraine did it in Russia. Israel just did it in Iran. And part of the attacks, and some of the most sensitive attacks, were from drones based in Iran. A remarkable multi-pronged attack. I am hoping it is not over. I'm hoping we do not pull back on the reins with Israel as the Biden administration had done. Let's get it over with. Let's get it done. I'm not a warmonger, but Iran is. And those warmongering savages that run that country need to be eliminated for there to be peace in that region of the world. Now, just a couple of thoughts on a lot of this. What does a major world war look like at its start? A lot like this. A lot like this. Remember, Iran has also provided drone technology and drones by the dozens to Russia to attack Ukraine, which is why the idiocy of Joe Biden and his fool of a cabinet for allowing Iran to get back on its feet economically, to become wealthy again, it was so insane and stupid, you can't make it up. Now, we started off, obviously, regarding the ICE riots in L.A., finishing with this great sheriff in Florida, Brevard County. John Voight started it off, telling sickening Gavin Newsom what an ass he is. Now, I want to point something out, and people aren't necessarily thinking about it, but I want to point it out. Trump's Middle East diplomacy and the friendships that he has forged and the respect that he has gotten for us and that little trip he just took, beyond valuable right now. Because we can control events and we can keep them from spiraling out of control. And we have now tacitly approved of Israel attacking Iran. And again, I pray they're not done. They've got to do more. And there's a possibility I know it is limited, but there's a possibility of regime change in Iran, which would change everything in the Middle East and that portion of Asia. And Trump's Middle East diplomacy has been an incredibly valuable part of that right now. You don't hear any recriminations from our friends or Trump's friends in Saudi Arabia and elsewhere in the Arab world. Now, I remind you again, because it's something you don't necessarily reflect on. They're different sects of the Muslim religion. By and large, other than Iraq, the Sunnis are predominant in the Arab world. The Iranians are not Arab. They are Asian. They are Persian. They are not natural friends to the Arabs. And they are also, by the way, primarily Semitic people as well. That's why I talk about, don't be saying anti-Semite. It's anti-Jewish. It's anti-Israeli when you're talking about anti-Semitic, because Arabs are Semitics as well. So I just think a brilliant strike at both the nuclear facilities, the ballistic capabilities of Iran, which are truly dangerous, and the command and control, the leaders of this evil regime. Fascinating. So Tom from Dallas, he says, Bobby took the words right out of my mouth. I literally had to delete the text I was going to send you on Trump's foreign tour with the Middle East leaders. Yep. It's a big deal. It's a big deal what Donald Trump did and what he accomplished, turning around 4 years of sickening weakness, disgrace, and pro-Iranian policy right in the face of all of the countries who Trump had brought in to the Abraham Accords just years before. And Israel has done what it does. The only people that could do it better, that's us. Well, in terms of intelligence in that region, nobody does that better than them. Our CIA, our intelligence, our physical intelligence, satellites, observation posts, all of that, yeah, the best on the planet. But our personal intel in countries like Iran, well, our CIA is too worried about left-wing and establishment politics to be effective there. But I'm telling you, Donald Trump, great job. Benjamin Netanyahu, great job. Keep going. And again, John Fetterman saying the right things. And in a gutsy way. I've got to give credit where it's due. Full-throated support for Israel. The only Democrat, remember this, Jewish Americans, the only Democrat supporting these attacks and urging Israel on to crush our mutual enemies, not just Israel's enemy. So a good night last night, a great Friday the 13th. Let's take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK, and thank God the idiots, the no-brainers who will be protesting this weekend, they've got something else to protest about. Good. We'll be back. The Bee Gees. Murph tells us this date, 1967, they performed on the British television series As You Like It and did their hit New York Mining Disaster, 1941. Anybody from this area, most everybody from this area, certainly the natives, can appreciate that song. And just the concept. We had enough of those in our history. Bob Cordaro back with you. And, of course, the Miranda Rights anniversary, 1966, Supreme Court. Seemed radical at the time. Oh, my God, we've got to tell them they can keep their mouths shut. No, it's a pretty good thing. Pretty good thing. Hey, this is, it almost got derailed by this Israeli attack, but this is La Familia Friday. Remember we used to do those? We've got some mafia stuff we're going to do throughout the program today. I just find it fun and funny, and I know that a lot of you do too. Somebody said, hey, Bob, let's not forget the Biden administration started all this unrest in our country and around the world, LTS. LTS back at you, it's true. The damage done by this left-wing idiocy called the Biden administration and the Democrat Congress it's beyond comprehension. It's really beyond comprehension. So much has to be undone. By the way, Donald Trump's softening on a couple of things, immigration-wise, and people are, he raised some eyebrows talking about people in the farming and leisure industries, meaning illegal aliens. And let me say this. We don't have enough, I don't know that I agree with him, but we don't have enough resources. I'm not worried about the economic impacts at all, to be honest with you. But I will say this. There are illegal aliens, and then there's illegal aliens. There's law-abiding people, and I've said this to you often. We need immigration in this country. And I don't know why we are not ramping up legal immigration in this country. But you don't do it through illegal immigration. We've had programs and people here for decades. Law-abiding, hardworking, all of that. They should be the last target and maybe the never target for ICE and for deportation. And that's what Trump just pointed out, the obvious. A lot of eyebrows raised, and a lot of eyebrows raised to me after he made the statement, but I don't take it in any particular way. I just don't know that the timing was that great. When you don't want to look like you're backing down to an ass like Mayor Bass, yeah, that rhymes, and Gavin Newsom, and these idiot protesters over the weekend. You don't want to look at like that, because you're never going to appease them anyway, just so you know. Never, ever, ever, ever. These people operate and act upon lies that they either know are completely false, or that they obviously don't care that they are completely false. They don't care. They're going to protest. Many of them paid, the rest just stupid stooges. They're going to protest anything that reeks of common sense, because they want a degenerating United States of America, because they hate it. Yep. Tom from Dallas says, you're going to have to change that Levon Helms song, because the battle is over and the war goes on, but other battles coming up, and that's the midterms. No, that's why it's our theme. The battle is over. That was the last election. The war goes on. It will never end with these people. Please remember that. They're populated. The left is populated by animals, absolute savages, evil, truly evil people and evil ideologies, and then fools. That's the entire base of that's the left. That's how to describe it. There's only 3 categories. Which one are you? Maybe check yourself and stop it. We'll take a break. We want to hear from our great sponsors. Then we want to go to our Veterans Tribute, and then the weather, and all of that. Our Veterans Tribute this hour and every hour, this day and every day. Brought to you by our man, John Basiliga. And appropriately on a Friday, Basiliga Hospitality. Their properties include the Old Brook Inn, Springbrook Township, 307, Far Street Tavern, and Scranton's West Side. The Scranton Art House, downtown Scranton. First Run Movies. Event space, all that. Atera 519, the jewel of restaurants in Northeast Pennsylvania. Sergei's, the nightclub. And when I say the, I mean the nightclub. Right underneath Atera 519. Queen City Tavern. Fresh and ready for action. Downtown Oliphant. And then the incomparable Stegmeyer Mansion South Franklin Street, downtown Wilkes-Barre. You will be transported to another era. Donald Bach. He was from Waymart. He was 92 when we lost him May 3rd. His loving wife of 67 years, the former Ann Spiewak, survives him. They were married in 1958. Born in Vandaling back in 1933. He was raised in his hometown and a 1950 graduate of Vandaling High School. He enlisted right after that in the United States Army and proudly served during the Korean War. Skilled craftsman, he worked for the Bricklayers Union for more than 50 years. He also did woodworking. Don and Ann, they enjoyed camping. They did the Western Rockies, the Canadian Rockies included. He'll be remembered as a devoted husband, father, grandfather, brother, and friend. In addition to his beloved wife, Ann, he's also survived by his daughter and his grandson, tragically preceded in death by his son, Ronald Bach, in 2012. Donald Bach. Robert Zelno, he was 83. We lost him May 1st. He was from, excuse me, he was from Einan. Graduate of Archbald High School and he attended the University of Scranton. Member of St. Cyril and Methodius Ukrainian Catholic Church, Oliphant. Honorably served this country in the United States Army. He was at Fort Dix in Jersey and Fort Hood, Texas. Married the love of his life, Marlene Jean Marcinko, back in 1965. He worked as a supervisor for American Can for 14 years and then for 30-plus years as an electronics mechanic for Tobyhanna Army Depot. Avid outdoorsman, handyman, great sense of humor. Volunteered at Allied Services, where he was known as the Candy Man. Survived by his loving wife, Marlene, 4 daughters, 6 grandchildren, 3 great-grandchildren. Robert Zelno, our great veterans this hour, brought to you by the incredible properties of Basiliga Hospitality and our man, John Basiliga. For meteorologist Anthony Bordenero, today, clouds with scattered showers and thunderstorms, high 80. Tonight, clouds and scattered showers, low 60. Saturday morning showers, mainly cloudy in the afternoon, 75. Sunday, clouds with scattered showers and thunderstorms, 75. So not a bad thing. This is a great day. I heard Anthony, our new weather guy at 16, say that this was going to be a beautiful day. I'm all with him on that. And it's not going to be terribly rainy because we're planning outdoor 3-generation Father's Day deal on Sunday. So hopefully it's spotty. We'll be under a pavilion up at Marjan, but, we want reasonable weather anyway. Well, there's another great event going on, and our guy, Brian Hughes, our newsman, he's here to talk about it. Brian, what's happening?
Well, Bob, tomorrow, which is Flag Day, as we all know, they're having a ceremony. It's a dedication of the Knights of Columbus Assembly 938, a plaque dedication, in conjunction with the 250th birthday celebration of the U.S. Army, happening tomorrow at 10 a.m. up at the Tomb of the Unborn at Cathedral Cemetery, which is on Orem Street in West Scranton. As you go into the cemetery, it's the first.
Is the main entrance open again now? It was a while ago, but okay.
Yeah, they had that main entrance was shut down for a while. That's all fixed up now. Right. It's good to go. The roads in there are a little tricky, but we're used to that driving through Scranton anyway. So. Yeah. But, the Flag Day ceremony is going to be held at the Tomb of the Unborn. If you're not familiar exactly where that is, it's the first left you would take once you get through the main entrance of Cathedral Cemetery, and it'll be on the right-hand side, and there are plenty of veteran graves in that general area because you just see the flags pretty much everywhere there. So that's what we're doing tomorrow.
I like that.
Beginning at 10.
The Knights of Columbus are so great, Brian. Are you refilling the ranks with younger people?
It's tough. Sometimes it is tough. We're working on recruiting. as much as we can. But sometimes, it takes a little doing. It takes a little arm twisting. But,
Well, young kids don't join the way older generations did. And that's sort of a shame, actually.
Yeah,
they don't know what they're missing, frankly.
The only requirements, basically, you have to be a Catholic man in good standing with the church and at least 18 years old. So,
and you just get in touch with any guy that you know is the Knights of Columbus. You could go online, find out how to do it, and do it.
ScrantonKnights.com, all one word. And also the main site, the national site, is kofc.org.
So tomorrow, I think it's appropriate. It's at the Tomb of the Unborn.
Yeah.
I've never seen that, and I've been in that cemetery many, many times.
That's been a project, actually, of one fellow in particular, Thaddeus Zielinski, who is a first responder, and that's been one of his pet projects for the last several years, even through COVID, getting that fixed up. It's like brand spanking new. It's been up there for a very long time, and they've done just a fantastic job of keeping it in good shape.
And well, he's obviously there was no way you couldn't be a leader of some kind with the name Thaddeus Zielinski.
Exactly.
You have to be. Good for him.
He makes some amazing scrambled eggs at the Breakfast with Santa, too.
Nice.
I kind of missed him the last couple of years, but he was there last year.
So tomorrow at what time at the Cathedral Cemetery?
Tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. at the Tomb of the Unborn, Cathedral Cemetery. It's on Orm Street in West Scranton. The first left as you go through the entrance, and it'll be on the right-hand side. You'll see the chairs set up, a bunch of knights up there, and it's going to be. I'm just hoping the weather holds out.
Yeah, it's supposed to be okay in the morning. Yeah. I hope so.
Fingers crossed.
My man Fred Duckman reminding me that it was Flag Day, but I'll tell you, I can't forget. And what a coincidence that on Flag Day, and maybe it's not a coincidence. I actually don't know the history of Flag Day, that it's the same day as the anniversary of the U.S. Army.
Yeah.
Neat. Good stuff. All right. Thank you, Brian Hughes. Appreciate it. Knights of Columbus tomorrow, 10 o'clock. A great Flag Day event if you're looking to attend one, and you should be. We'll take a break and be back. Bread. Man, I didn't know that was their debut. Murph says this date, 1970, they debuted with that great song. Their first single, Make It With You. Oh, they were awesome. Our man Frank Scott was the only guy who could sing that in Shindig. He had that. He was able to reach those notes and have that kind of. And he had a great voice. Somebody said, looking forward to the Mafia stuff. Brings back all my awesome childhood memories. Uncle Jimmy B with more gold chains than Mr. T. Cousins being pulled out of dumpsters behind diners. The legitimate forklift business in Kearney, New Jersey. Good stuff, says Body Shop Guy. Yeah, so we're gonna bring that back a little bit. Somebody texts in, Bob, you can't blame a lot of past Democrats, but Biden, if you remember, ran as a uniter and centrist Joe. That's why he got elected in 2020. Voters were fooled, but not anymore. Republicans have to win the midterms. The Democrat Party hates America. Somebody else said that the Democrat Party literally has become domestic terrorists. That's who they support. Amazing and scary, boy. It's so disturbing that we don't have an actual political party. We have an anti-American movement masquerading as a political party. They're against everything that matters. They're against every shred of common sense in our public policies. And some people disagree. They don't even want to hear it. By the way, somebody had asked, I'll be saluting Anthony Palmer at 10:35. And anybody who wants to call in or chime in or text in about any of our veterans, you are more than welcome. 570-883-0098. Big stuff. That's why I do the show. The politics is secondary. If you may not be able to believe that, but it is. The veterans are first. There were so many of them woven into the social fabric of this country in our communities and all the things they did in addition to their military service. They are America. And Flag Day ceremony tomorrow. So happy to hear the Knights of Columbus is doing something at the Cathedral Cemetery at the Tomb of the Unborn. Tomorrow, 10 a.m. We can't forget about Flag Day. Cannot forget. It's a big deal. And on top of that, you have the 250th United States Army birthday celebration. With the big parade in Washington, D.C. Get your patriotism. Get it on tomorrow. Get it on. So as we head into the news at the top of the hour, we're going to continue talking about this Israeli attack and its effectiveness. It is supposed to continue. And I really hope truck sales guy says, you're funny too. And I would say funny how? Probably funny in a lot of ways. I used to say this to my kids when I was in prison. I would say, just because it's happening to you doesn't mean it's not funny. It certainly is. It doesn't diminish it one bit. Well, it is news time. It's time to hear from Brian Hughes on the news front. He'll be tomorrow at the Flag Day celebration at Cathedral Cemetery as a Knight of Columbus, but he'll be there. We're going to take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. We will come back. The Club for Common Sense. We're still meeting. We'll return. Great good morning, everyone. It is 10:10 a.m. here in the great Northeast this beautiful Friday, June 13th, year of our Lord 2025. This is the Bob Cordaro Show, and I am he. And it's a big day to fight for America, defend our values. And with the help of our man John Basiliga and the great Basiliga Hospitality Group, to honor the brave who have made us and kept us free. People like the veterans we salute today, including Robert Zelno, Einan, Donald Bach, Walmart, Waymart, Anthony Palmer, Scranton, Leda, Florida, Michael Carr, Freeland, Rich Gaudreau, Bloomsburg, and Ben Carter, Scranton. So, with history, our great founding fathers, and the incomparable Constitution of the United States of America as our guides, let us continue today's battle. Gaveling back to order this meeting of the Club for Common Sense, reopening the Sanctuary of Sanity, which we've created for you, and we'll do so for the balance of the morning. Bob Cordaro back, and it's La Familia Friday. We're going to bring them back. They're just enjoyable, and a lot of you have been clamoring for them. And some of them saying, insisting on them in a very mafia-like manner. So I said, okay, I'll do it. I don't want any problem with you. And so we're back with those. You know what? And it's just like Body Shop Guy said. It reminds you of just times gone by. These are culturally iconic, these movies. And great, So we'll keep doing it. But it's a big reminder, as Fred Duckman told me and as Brian Hughes was telling us, Flag Day tomorrow. 250th anniversary of the U.S. Army tomorrow. The Marines and the Navy, their 250th year anniversary year as well. Great stuff, important stuff. Institutions that many would like to tear down, tear apart, belittle. Well, they only saved the country and made the country. That's all. So let's talk about these protests tomorrow. Someone had texted in about this fool. I got to tell you, I don't know of anyone who can. Now, I know many that can equal it in the Democratic Party, but who can top Tim Walz as a jackass. So somebody had texted in, because I did see this. They said, LTS, did you see Tim Walz when he was asked what a woman is by a congresswoman? He said he didn't understand the question. Right, Rodney? Buying time. Like, they were throwing questions at him, but went beyond his sanctuary city insanity. But he's going to be leading, and thank you to FHL for this, emailing this in. The anti-ICE deal. He's going to speak at the No Kings rally in St. Paul, Minnesota. He's the headliner. Now, do you imagine how stupid the people are listening if he's the headliner? Just imagine that. Man, the stupidity in that meeting is off the charts. So this rally that he'll be at. Now, the AFL-CIO, and here's what they're using your union dues for, so you know. They're one of the primary sponsors. We also mentioned the woman who married into the Walton family, the Walmart gang. She married into them. She's not one of them. She's also financing these. But here's the crazy part. I told you about this in terms of California, Act Blue, all that. They're financed by our tax dollars, federal tax dollars. Well, the AFL-CIO has a group known as Solidarity Center. They received $72 million from us. You tell me we don't need Doge? In 2022 and 2023. And that's how they're paying for this. $34 million they collected from union dues, $69 million they got from the government in 2022. It's basically rent-a-riot. Thank you, FIL, for sending Robin for sending that in. It's insane. Your tax dollars are paying for their protest. It's unreal. It's disgraceful. It's disgusting. See, this is what government has morphed into. Thank God for Doge. Thank God for Trump and Musk and their team exposing this total insanity. It is disturbing at a cellular level. It really, truly is. My tax dollars from the disgraceful IRS, pried out of my cold hands, is going to protest against my country. Yeah. Think of it. Does it get any worse than that? You want to talk taxation without representation? There it is. By the way, the Club for Common Sense text group sent in, it has AOC. It says, I'm against studying civics in school. We should study other cars as well. I mean, why should we show favoritism toward Honda? Amazing. So, Israel with their attack. Tomorrow, on the positive side, 250th anniversary and the great military parade in Washington, D.C. to honor that. It is also Flag Day. And anniversary of the Marines is this year. Anniversary of the Navy is this year as well. 250th for both. Amazing. Charles from Scott Township wants to know, what do you think about the way they're treating Pete Hegseth? It was expected. And remember, it's expected from the brass of the military because he's a grunt. He's a grunt. He was actually a war fighter. They don't like that. They like the desk chair generals at the Pentagon. They don't like somebody who actually understands what fighting is about, that actually understands what happens on the ground. They don't like that at all. So the abuse is coming from the whole establishment. Military as well as the left-wing lunatics and the Democrats. Well, that's the same thing. Mm-hmm. Somebody pointing it's also Trump's birthday tomorrow. And okay. I really don't, I'm happy birthday. I love Donald Trump. You know that. I think he's funny, all of that. I think his policies are outstanding. But it pales compared to what it is. Now, it's also my parents' anniversary. I don't know how many, but we got to be getting close to 70. Tomorrow, Flag Day. Coinciding with Father's Day weekend. Great stuff. Well, let's take a break on this side. Bob Cordaro, WILK. We will return. It's La Familia Friday on the eve of Flag Day and the U.S. Army's 250th birthday celebration. We'll be back. Murph tells us this date, 1970, that great song. It was the Beatles' last studio single that they released, The Long and Winding Road. Bob Cordaro back, and of course, Thurgood Marshall, the true civil rights pioneer, not a great Supreme Court justice. He was a lefty, and that's Lyndon Johnson, the scum, but a good man and a great civil rights leader. Thurgood Marshall, appointed to the Supreme Court, first black, first African American. They called them Negroes in that day. So let's not get offended. Why you would, I don't know, but you might. In any event, great history, great date in history. This date, 1967, a century ago, essentially. There was still structural racism in this country when LBJ appointed him. I would not ascribe good motives to Lyndon Baines Johnson ever, so I won't. Body Shop guy says, my biggest fear for tomorrow is the left pulling off a massive false flag operation just to put a scar on Trump's day of military celebration. They're going to do whatever they can. Somebody else texts in, Rob, LTS, you have to play John Voight message to Gavin Newsom. It's on X. It's classic. I did play it. See, you got to listen. You got to listen, guys. We're on top of this stuff. We played John Voight to open the program. Doug said that's the greatest Beatles song. Certainly one of the best, Doug. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. What a great song. But did you notice? I don't know why. It's the first time I ever noticed it. Sir Paul's voice was a little off or something. I expect perfection out of him. And it wasn't quite perfect. By the way, excavator guy reminded me, particularly in the light of the ice rights. And I'm thinking, all our protest songs from the Biden administration, it's hard to play them now because we're in charge. We're still fighting the same forces. They are still almost overwhelming. But, try that in a small town fits. So we're going to play that after the weather this hour. I'll tell you what, Israel has warmed the cockles of my heart, whatever they are, with this attack on the evil empire of Iran, killing directly some of their leaders who are burning in hell this moment, I'm certain. Mayor Tony Amico texting in. He says, bit of trivia. Long and Winding Road was presented to Tom Jones to record. But they couldn't include it in his album's song list because it exceeded the number of tracks. You can only fit so many on a record. Remember, it was an actual piece of vinyl. His version is equally incredible, just a great song. I'd love to hear a Tom Jones version. Bulldog, look for that. Look for Long and Winding Road by Tom. I throw stuff at him. And I don't know. Bulldog, are you cursing me under your breath? Are you? We've been having this discussion off air. Are you cursing me under your breath? which means yes. Yeah, on Miranda Day, the Miranda Day anniversary. Well, listen, we want to hear the Tom Jones at some point. Tom Jones, Long and Winding Road. Now that our man, the mayor, Tony Amico, told us about that interesting tidbit. It's not a music show. I don't pretend to know music. This is Murph gives us the stuff, and now Mayor Amico. All right. We need to take a break here. Bob Cordaro, WILK. We're going to hear from our great sponsors. We've got 3 veterans we want to pay tribute to. Then the weather. Then try that in a small town. We'll be back. Our Veterans Tribute this hour, and guess what? Every hour. This day and every day. Brought to you by John Basiliga. Got to hang a little bit with John at Atera 519, one of his great restaurants, Wednesday night. Well, don't forget about the other ones. All price points. Affordable, beautiful, fun, and delicious. The Old Brook Inn, 307, Springbrook Township. Far Street Tavern, the reimagined neighborhood bar on Far Street, Trips Park section of West Scranton. The Scranton Art House. Have a cocktail, have your favorite food, watching a first-run movie. Of course, Atera 519. Sergey's Live, the nightclub in Northeast Pennsylvania, right beneath Atera. Queen City Tavern, reimagined in downtown Oliphant and loving it. And then the incomparable Stegmeyer Mansion, downtown Wilkes-Barre. Transport yourself back to another era at the Stegmeyer Mansion for dinner or events. Our veterans this hour, Anthony Palmer. He was 93, late of Florida, when he passed February 11th. He was born Scranton. He died on his birthday because he was born February 11th, 1932. At 18, Anthony enlisted in the U.S. Army. He served with the Great 109th Infantry in Korean War from 1950 to 1952. He was a recipient of the Purple Heart. Anthony married his wife, Margaret. She was known as Peggy, the former Peggy Williams, on October 7th, 1950. He fathered 5 children with her. Their marriage lasted 55 years before she passed away in 2006. He had a career at the Tobahan Army Depot as a welder in the electronics department. He was preceded in death by his parents and, tragically, a son, Leyland. He's survived by 2 sisters, 2 brothers, along with 4 of his children, their spouses, 6 grandchildren, 7 great-grandchildren. Anthony Palmer. Michael Carr of Freeland. April 29th, 2025, he passed away at age 92. Husband, father, grandfather, uncle. Born in Freeland, graduate of St. Anthony's High School there. Completed the Pennsylvania State Management Development Program, retiring from PNC Bank after 21 years there. Also worked at First Eastern and People's First National Bank. Prior to that, he was a salesperson, kitchen designer for Cones Kitchens, also with White House Building Products. Then he worked for MetLife. He had his own company, too, Carr's Bottling Works. He helped at the McHugh-Wilczek Funeral Home since 1991. He achieved the rank of sergeant, serving us in the 22nd Combat Battalion during the Korean War. Man, we're losing these Korean vets. And that's why we love our Freeland's own Joe Barna as well. 53 to 55, Michael Carr served. Freeland's Lion Club, the Knights of Columbus, the St. Anne's Guild, the Catholic Youth Organization, the Immaculate Conception Parish at St. Anne's Church, Freeland. One of the organizers of the Bankers Breakfast Club for retired employees of local banks, and the Freeland Breakfast Club. Mickey will do it, they would say. He cherished being called Zez by his grandson and family and friends alike. He knew how to do wooden crafts, including rosaries. He had Zezisms, like don't take any wooden nickels, they burn. As a man of great faith, he loved going to Mass and believed in the power of prayer and the Irish blessing in Latin. Nomine Patris et Filii Spiritus Sancti. Preceding him in death, his loving wife, Martha. But his daughters survive him, a grandson, and many nieces and nephews. Michael Carr. Rich Gaudreau, Air Force veteran. He served as a pallbearer for JFK. He was 88 when he passed May 1st. He was from Bloomsburg. Born in Ayer, Massachusetts, graduate of Ashby High School there. He faithfully served in the United States Air Force for more than 25 years. Honorably discharged in 1979, achieving the rank of Senior Master Sergeant. He was an airplane enthusiastic, and during his military service, he served as the sole Air Force pallbearer for President John F. Kennedy's funeral. The sights this man saw. After his discharge, Rich worked for PPL Bell Bend in Berwick in the Security Management Department. In 1956 in England, he married his loving wife, the former Barbara McKella. A member of the Air Force Security Forces Association, the American Legion. He was a PIAA official for high school softball, basketball, and NCAA women's softball. We need them. He loved softball, slow pitch, fast pitch, all of it. Survivors include his beloved wife of 69 years, Barbara, 3 children, 9 grandchildren, 8 great-grandchildren, 8 siblings, and other family members. Rich Gaudreau, our great veterans, this hour, brought to you by John Basiliga and Basiliga Hospitality. Meteorologist Anthony Bordenaro tells us today, do you notice, because I'm half Italian, I don't have any problem saying his name. Did you notice that, Bulldog? Huh? Did I get a smile on the head of the nod of the head? Okay. Today, clouds with scattered showers and thunderstorms, 80. Tonight, clouds and scattered showers, low 60. Saturday, tomorrow, Flag Day, Army 250th birthday. Morning showers, mainly cloudy in the afternoon, 75. Sunday, clouds with scattered showers and thunderstorms, 75. Now, they're scattered. They're never scattered if they are on top of you, though, are they? We have a little song that excavator guy wanted to send in, and we're going to play it. And this is a warning. Just like we played that great sheriff, Brevard County, Florida. Yeah. How about we work it this way? Don't try it here. Let's work it that way. Left-wing lunatics. Somebody texted in, if you can, give a shout-out to the vets from Troop. Spike Skunkett, Eddie Long, Marine Frank Gosco, and all the veterans from Troop. Amen to you. One of my old hometowns. Somebody said Iranian military leaders who died in yesterday's bombing may be in heaven. And heaven is being defined as being surrounded by 20 virgins, all looking like Rosie O'Donnell. Steve from Dunmore says, yeah, well, there's all kinds of hell, aren't there? Oh, Lord. I'm happy, by the way, excavator guy. The Rich Men North of Richmond and some of the other songs, I wasn't playing them because, look, we've got control of the presidency and the Congress. And, despite our little infighting and disagreements, meaning the common sense people, and despite complete opposition from the Democrat Party, which is a sickening disgrace, it's our duty now. We've got the reins. We've got to bring things back and make them right again. But that song fits. Bring your paid protesters here. But I still say this. The Susquehanna characters who are going to assemble on that bridge, somebody help them, because they've totally lost touch with reality, truth, and fact. They may walk off the bridge. They may fall. Please help them. Prevent them from doing it. Just like the old days, when the hippies used to be accompanied on their acid trip, because God knows what they'll do. These people are walking around with just as much sense as someone on an acid trip. It's about all they got. But so we had 3 great veterans. We have another great veteran coming up at the 11:35 hour, and his love of his life, Aaron Malloy, is going to call in to talk about Ben Carter. But for now, let's take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. Let's hear from our great sponsors. And then, wait, because I'm going to forget otherwise. Mary Regina, she sent in the Mother Teresa for today, and I don't want to forget it and get wound up and forget about it. For June 13th, St. Teresa says this: every human being comes from the hand of God. And we all know something of God's love for us through each person we encounter. Whatever our religion, we know that if we really want to love, we must first, before anything else, learn to forgive. And I'll add, parenthetically, Mother Teresa, we can't forget, though. June 13th, that's Mother Teresa, another amazing message. We'll be back after this. James Taylor, he's a goof, but great music, huh? 1977, this date, he released his hit Handyman. Bob Cordaro back with you on the eponymous program. And you could reach me, 570-883-0098. It is La Familia Friday. We've got some more good stuff to play for you coming out of this next break. So I shout out to, by the way, Spike and Eddie and Frank. You can't be all the veterans and troop. There's thousands of them. Well, not thousands, but dozens of them. Uncle Jim Savico, he's up there. Former Marine. Well, no, are you ever a former Marine? How did that work? You're never an ex-Marine. That's what it is. Ginny wishing happy Father's Day to me, Ginny C., and asking for prayers. Prayers to you. Prayers for you and to you, Ginny C. Somebody else texting, Bob LTS, happy Father's Day to you. I wanted to mention that I saw the protesters on TV yesterday. I believe it was Texas, but not sure. They burned the American flag. I was livid. How dare they get away with this? Do they realize they are stepping on every service member who served so they could walk free? Disgusting and sad. Damn them. Well, I don't want to tell you I don't have a problem with anybody burning the flag, but I don't think it should be made illegal. I want people to prove exactly who they are to all of us, the rest of us, the normal component, or what passes for normal these days. I want them to prove who they are. I want them to wave the Hamas flags and shout from the river to the sea. I want to know who they are. I want to be absolutely certain that they are idiot lunatics and that they're not to be trusted and they're not to be listened to. And I want all of their supporters, that being the entire Democrat Party except for John Fetterman. And I'm not putting him in my good guy list by any means. As much as I would probably enjoy knocking back a few with John Fetterman. Although a friend of mine met him and said he's a weirdo. I don't know. But as much as I could possibly like him personally, yeah, he's a wolf in sheep's clothing. He just is. So I as I said yesterday, wolf in sheep's hoodie. He just is. But at least he makes sense some of the time. The rest of the Democrat Party is wrong every time they open their mouth. They lie every time they open their mouths. I'm telling you, as a country, we cannot sustain ourselves with this as the Democrat Party. We really can't. Scary stuff, guys. It really is. So I hope you understand where I'm coming from. That's free speech. And again, one of the many reasons I love free speech is because it tells me who you are. When you've got the freedom to speak, we might actually hear what you think. We might be able to actually, like with AOC, the more she speaks, the more we understand how dumb she is, how shallow she is. Kamala Harris, they said, oh my God, Kamala Harris, if only she had more time. If she had more time, Trump would have won all 50 states. Let her keep talking. Let Tim Walz keep talking. Let Governor Newsom keep talking. Somebody says, wait a minute here. How do you bringing up the Dunmore loss to GAR? So it can't compare the agony of the 1980 Olympians. What? What did the Olympian lose in 1980? I didn't bring up the GAR loss today. That was weeks ago. Somebody disagrees with me, by the way, on another subject. No, it should be illegal to burn our country's flag. I really believe in free speech, and I believe free speech is very illuminating. Freedom of expression. And don't think if they tell us we can't burn the flag or pass a law to that effect, number one, I think it'd be unconstitutional. But don't think they wouldn't go further. They would. So we got to protect idiots and let them say and do what they want. We'll be back. Well, as Tom Jones sings, shout out to the Lady Cougars of Valley View. PIAA Class 4A softball champions in the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And shout out to the Pinohi Festival. Edwardsville kicking off today. Bulldog, weren't you a judge last year or something? A couple of years ago. Yeah, I never forgot that for some reason. Well, I'm sure you'll be down there having a Pinohi, and then Jefferson Township has their deal, the fire company, this weekend. Thanks, Tom Jones. It's news time with Brian Hughes. We'll be back. Great good morning, everyone. 11:09 a.m. here in the great Northeast this beautiful Friday, June 13th, 2025. It's Friday the 13th in Iran, that's for sure. And this is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he. And it's a big day to fight for America, defend our values. And with the help of our man John Basiliga and Basiliga Hospitality, as we head into this weekend, it's time to honor the brave we lost this year, but celebrate today. Like Michael Carr of Freeland, Anthony Palmer, late of Florida, but he was from Scranton, Robert Zelno, Einan, Donald Bach, Waymart, Rich Gaudreau, Bloomsburg. So with history, our great founding fathers, and the incomparable Constitution of the United States of America as our guides, let us continue today's battle. Gaveling to order this meeting of the Club for Common Sense, promising a sanctuary of sanity for the balance of this hour. Sounds like a stalker to me. This date, 1949, Murph tells us, Dennis Locorrier, better known as Dr. Hook. I think I'm pronouncing it right. He was the lead singer for Dr. Hook, born in Union City, Jersey. Sylvia's Mother, their signature song. And, of course, Goodfellas, the introductions. Here on La Familia Friday, Bob Cordaro back with you. Somebody said, listening to Tom Jones makes me want to take my bra off and throw it at the radio. And I'm a guy. Also loving Michael Corleone and Frank Pantangeli. LTS back at you. Somebody else with a helpful suggestion. Isn't open air burning illegal almost everywhere? So if a flag is going to be burned, shouldn't it have to be in an approved container I like that a lot. That's why I hang around with you guys 15 hours a week. Somebody said it'd be nice if you called out the bias in our news. I do. It's what it is. We've got the rest of the hour, and we get it. What do I say? Freedom of the press. And we know they're lying. We know they're making it up. We know they're fudging. That's okay. We can handle it. I promise you we can. Back on the program, Bob Cordaro, WILK. The reverberations in the stock market, at least for the moment, and these people, the people in the market, remember what's happening. A lot of traders, their job is to react to news. Well, then a lot of other traders say, well, if this group is reacting to news and they're going to move the markets, I have to also. And it goes on, and so you've got this limited avalanche of opinions. And that's the way it goes. And they trade based on concerns, not reality. We've seen it with the tariffs. We've seen it now with this action. And frankly, one of the things Trump has to do, and I've said this to a group text I'm on, I said, the difference between this happening, well, there's two major differences. Number one, Israel knows we have their back. They did not know that with Joe Biden and the lunatic Democrats in his administration in charge. Number two, and by the way, and that makes it all worth it. Let me add another one. Trump's recent rapprochement with the Arab world and that amazing trip he took and the respect they have for him and his strength has shored up the entire Middle East against Iran again, which is where we were prior to the Biden administration. And thirdly, we, unlike under the Biden administration, we will unleash our own energy complex from coal to oil to natural gas to fill any gap that Iran shortages out of Iran occur. And in fact, we would appreciate choking off Iran's source of funding to do evil around the world. We would love it. All right, let's go to the blower. We got one call on it regarding Donald Trump and the Constitution. I don't have my computer's not up, so I don't know who it is. So who is this? Oh, Jesus, Frank. If I knew it was you, I would have answered, but go ahead. Well, no, I don't want to talk to you. But you could say what you want to say. That was short and sweet. You see, I've got a separate computer that tells me who you are other than the phone, and it's not on for some reason. So, I don't. Frank, I don't want to hear your nonsense. God knows. You want to talk about the Constitution. But no, you didn't care, Frank, when the Biden administration was shutting down messages they didn't like on the internet. And browbeating social media companies, threatening social media companies. You didn't care about free speech. Well, that's right there in the Constitution, Frank. You didn't care when they were limiting, let's continue on free speech. You didn't care when parents were being harassed, investigated, and arrested for speaking up against transgenders, boys, in their girls' locker rooms, bathrooms, and sports. You didn't care about the Constitution then. You didn't care about Second Amendment rights being eroded with a threat of having them being taken away. You didn't care about that. Now you're all about the Constitution. All of you. What a joke. What a ridiculous joke. Bob LTS, retired guy here. Your Club for Common Sense members know But remind the other mental slugs out there what flag tomorrow's day honors and why. The American flag. Thank you for that. It's worth a reminder. The American flag, which it stands for everything we believe, and it represents everything this country has become, other than the fools who hate it. Do you remember during that dispute we had with Volunteers of America? They wouldn't fly the American flag, but they would fly the I don't even know what flags they were flying, but they would fly any flag but the American flag. And one of their members out of Harrisburg said, "Oh well, it's a triggering thing to fly the American flag." You remember that insanity? Thank God we're putting that behind us. But they're not going away. They are not. By the way, somebody texting in about one of our great veterans today, Anthony Palmer. They point out he didn't just receive the Purple Heart, but earned it, unfortunately, being shot and or blown up while in Korea. He had a horrible large chest. Where's the rest of this darn facts? Scare, and also lost a finger because of it. Was hospitalized for almost a year in Europe, but held on to come home and start and raise a family. 5 kids. The listener continues regarding Anthony Palmer. Sadly, like lots of his generation, he would not talk about what had happened to him over there in Korea. But because of him, my daughter has a 14th birthday today from his grandson. Wow. Oh, my God. I gotta take a break and compose myself. Let's hear from our great sponsors. I'll be able to recover during the commercial. His grandson, the grandson of Anthony Palmer, checking in. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for reminding us about this great patriot. We'll be back. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. We're back. My friend Beansy DeMarco, you remember we paid tribute to the DeMarco family from Dunmore. 3 generations of service members. And my man Beansy says, as an ex-United States Air Force, I'll say former. I don't want to say ex. As a former United States Air Force non-commissioned officer, I display the flag 365 days a year. Strategic Air Command 509th Bomber Wing. Way to go, Beansy. We're back. For our veteran Anthony Palmer's grandson, thank you for texting in. Man, did you make my day. Did you make my day? Describing, it was beyond it was a Purple Heart with real serious life-threatening injuries. A year in Europe, recovering from his wounds from Korea. He comes on, 5 kids, lives a full life, retires to Florida. Oh, is that a great story? That is just great. Jim from Harding regarding the Kristi Noem press conference. How are you? I know. Well, the funny part, Jim, I watched it, and the funniest part to me, now he's a United States Senator from California. Well, those security guys had no clue who he is. Not one clue. I absolutely love that fact. And they thought he was just some clown. Well, he is just some clown coming in to either disrupt, maybe cause violence, and they took him out and took him down. I loved it. I loved every second of it. Exactly. I know. Well, by the way, do you know he was supposed to be in Washington, D.C. for something he had committed to, but he ran out there to make a scene. Yep. Oh, she's just vapid. It would show some more. Well, you said it all, my man. Thank you. Jim, always a pleasure. Have a great weekend. Yeah, I mean, she's an embarrassment. We're talking about illegal aliens. We're not talking about race, by the way, Jasmine. And did they keep you out of the United States Congress? You're the proof we are not racist. You're the actual proof. You're incompetent. You used your race to get a job in the DA's office. You used it to stumble forward. It helped you. Not only were we not racist, it helped you. And by the way, don't anyone tell me that Barack Obama would have been president of the United States, never mind for 1 term, but for 2, if he wasn't black. There's not a chance in the world. If he ran around saying, well, I'm half white, he would not have been elected. Period. Somebody else texted in, by the way, Constitution? How about not protecting our borders and sovereignty, which amounts to treason? Yep. Yep. Amen. Time to take a break. We want to hear from our great sponsors. We want to come back. We got a Veterans Tribute. And this one we're going to have some help with. I'm looking forward to it. But then after that, the weather, a little bit more of La Familia Friday, and all of that. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. Our veteran this hour and our veterans every hour. Our veterans this day and every day. Brought to you by John Basiliga. And as we head into the weekend, we thank Basiliga Hospitality. That includes the Old Brook Inn, 307 Springbrook Township, Far Street Tavern on Far Street, in the Great Trips Park section of incredible West Scranton. The Scranton Art House, Lackawanna Avenue, downtown Scranton. First run movies with your favorite adult beverage, your favorite food. A Terra 519, the Crown Jewel of restaurants in Northeast Pennsylvania. And right underneath, Sergei's Live, the nightclub in Northeast Pennsylvania. The Queen City Tavern, yeah, it is reopened, and it is fabulous in downtown Oliphant. And then step back into another era. The Stegmeyer Mansion, the Mary Stegmeyer Mansion, South Franklin Street, Wilkes-Barre. Fine dining to me at its best. Ben Carter. He lost his battle with PTSD and a traumatic brain injury. We lost him April 1st. He was a decorated naval combat veteran, deployed in Iraq twice. He was with the Amphibious Construction Battalion 1 and proud to be selected for the Riverine Squadron 1, the first Riverine Squadron since Vietnam. He was the first to receive the official Game Warden of Vietnam Award for his heroic actions in Iraq during his second deployment. Ben graduated from Lackawanna Trail High School and George Mason University. and was honored to be a third-degree Mason. Loving, caring, great sense of humor. Protecting people was his greatest strength. His love for this country will never be forgotten. His hard work on the farm and at the great Camp Freedom will not be forgotten. He loved music, playing the drums. He's survived by his 3 children and the love of his life, Aaron Malloy, his mother and stepfather, his father, 2 brothers, nieces and nephews. Ben not only helped so many people along the way, but was also helped by many. Benjamin Carter, and a friend of mine, the love of his life, Erin Malloy. She's on the phone to talk about Ben Carter. How are you, Erin? Thank you for calling. I was so pleased to meet him, and I said I had an old bouncer's habit. I would always identify and I couldn't help it even as I'm older and can do nothing about it. I'd always identify the toughest guy in the bar. And when I would see him at Crotty's, I go, that's the toughest guy in the bar. And it was a pleasure. It was a pleasure meeting him and talking to him, and a good guy. Tell us about him. Mm-hmm. Now he was a decorated naval combat veteran, and his actions saved the lives of a lot of soldiers. 8 years, deployed in Iraq twice. Did he ever talk to you about that? We're talking with Erin Malloy, and she was described as the love of his life, Ben Carter, who we lost this year. Erin, is any particular story that you think is emblematic about Ben that you'd like to relate to us? I'm sure, yeah. We're not in a rush, because you're right. There's yeah. Mm-hmm. appreciate that, Aaron. And I know it wasn't easy to call in and talk about it. It is still so recent, his tragic passing. Ben Carter, our veteran this hour, and the love of his life, Aaron Malloy, calling in to talk about him. Thank you so much. What a pleasure. Thank you. We'll take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. We'll be back. We're back. So my bull mastiff is only I don't know, he's less than 6 months old, but he wants me to take him to a protest at that house where they took the 10 mastiffs away. I know he's all in a lather. I don't think I'm going to take him though. We think the judge acted appropriately. He and I just are going to have to disagree on this. Speaking of disagreement, my friend David from California. David, how are you, my man? C. Yes. Okay. Well, actually, one of the most prolific inventors, unfortunately overshadowed by Edison, was an African American as well. Yep. In what sense? Were you listening to a different radio show? I don't remember talking anything. What did I say? You're way off, but what did I say that triggered you to that understanding of what I said? Correct. Mm-hmm. You're drifting off on me here. What is this? What triggered you to believe that I said something negative towards blacks or African Americans? I said, now I think I know what triggered you. And again, triggers are false, and this one is too. I said that Thurgood Marshall was a great civil rights leader, a brave civil rights leader, but he was not a good Supreme Court justice. I said that. Where you got the gibberish that you just recited to me, I have no idea. No, because he was for big government and he was a left-wing liberal. And I didn't believe in I didn't agree with a lot of his, as a lawyer, I didn't agree with a lot of his reasoning or votes on the Supreme Court. It depends. Oh, that's all the government. Yeah, everybody wants to do damage to the earth, and thank God for the government. Are you kidding me? David, where do you live in California, David? Yeah, not a more perfect government, a more perfect union of human beings. By the way, your guy Gavin Newsom, did you vote for Gavin Newsom? Did you vote for Gavin Newsom, David? David, we're running out of time. My apologies, but no, we're running out of time. Did you vote for Gavin Newsom? Did you vote for Gavin Newsom? Can you answer a question? Did you vote for Gavin Newsom? Did you vote for Gavin Newsom? Did you vote for Gavin Newsom? Why can't you answer that question? Did you vote for Gavin Newsom? Do you think he's doing a good job, Gavin Newsom? Okay, good. No, Gavin Newsom. I asked you about. I know you've got, I could tell you have TDS. Apparently you have CDS also. David, we're out of time. I got to go. Call again earlier next time, my man. Call again earlier. We could air all this out. Wow. There's the left, guys. I thought it was my high school friend David from California. And that's why I took the call and expected it to be humorous. David, call again. I have no problem having these discussions with you. But you can't call when 2 minutes before the show's over. Lordy. I'm going to go back. I've got 3 things I've finished the program with. First, the policeman's prayer. Brought to you by my guy, Nicky DeSanto, who sends me a beautiful prayer every day. Somebody said there's something in the air or water in California and it ain't good. I agree. Policeman's prayer. Lord, bless the ones who wear the badge, the ones who walk the beat, protect and keep them safe while they are on the street. As they wait and as they watch, doing good for all, guide their minds and give them strength for each and every call. Ready to put their lives on the line, give them courage each day. Let them know you're always there in each and every way. So bless the ones who wear the badge, protect them from harm. Always keep them safe and in your loving arms. As we remember our veterans for today, Benjamin Ben Carter, Scranton. Anthony Palmer, Leda, Florida, but he was from Scranton. Michael Carr, Freeland. Robert Zelno, Einan. Donald Bach, Waymart, and Rich Gaudreau, Bloomsburg. We recite our veterans found in the Bloomsburg Legion. A veteran, whether active duty, discharged, retired, or reserve, is someone who at one point in his or her life wrote a blank check made payable to the United States of America, and I would add, and its people, for an amount of up to and including his or her life. That is honor, and there are way too many people in this country today who no longer understand that fact. You can find that at the American Legion in Bloomsburg. Tomorrow Never Comes by Norma Cornett Merrick. If I knew it would be the last time I'd see you walk out the door, I would give you a hug and kiss and call you back for just one more. If I knew it would be the last time, I would spare an extra minute or two to stop and say I love you instead of assuming you know I do. So just in case tomorrow never comes and today is all I get, I'd like to say how much I love you, and I hope we will never forget. Tomorrow is not promised to anyone, young or old alike, and today may be the last chance you get to hold your loved one tight. So if you're waiting for tomorrow, why not do it today? For if tomorrow never comes, you'll surely regret the day that you didn't take that extra time for a smile, a hug, or a kiss, and you were too busy to grant someone what turned out to be their final wish. So hold your loved ones close today and whisper in their ear that you love them very much and you'll always hold them dear. Take time to say, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, or it's okay. And if tomorrow never comes, you'll have no regrets about today. That was in the obituary of Doreen Gorieb. And so appropriate as we approach Father's Day. Fathers, if you're having a problem with one of your kids, try this weekend to renew that relationship. Children, if you're having a problem with your father, try to renew that relationship. Reach out. May not work, but give it a try. Guys, have a great weekend. Happy Father's Day to all. Happy Flag Day. Happy birthday to the U.S. Army, 250th. Have a great weekend. As I gavel to a close this meeting, the final of the week for the Club for Common Sense, I tell you, have a great afternoon and adios.